What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? We're doing Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. We did Hellraiser 2 Hellbound last night. This is Hellraiser Chronicles. I'm going through every Hellraiser movie. Not a review, more of just kind of a quick refresher for myself to properly rank these movies, because I don't want to give you a ranking where I'm just kind of going off the cuff and guessing and not remembering anything, right? I want all these movies fresh in my head. But we're watching Hellraiser 3 right now. I have so many good memories of this movie. Crazy shit going on already. Listen to me, okay? Look at me. I gotta be careful with showing you footage. Last night I showed you footage too much, and as soon as I tried to upload it to YouTube, it told me that I can't do that because copyright. And so I had to go back and I had to put all these copyright filters in there. I might have to do that in this one, I don't know, but I'm gonna try my best to not have to do that. Okay, why is my camera getting brighter all of a sudden? Very weird. We'll roll with it though. Hellraiser 3 brings back a lot of memories. I saw this movie opening night in the theater. This was when Dimension got a hold of the Hellraiser franchise. Dimension definitely had its own flavor with horror at the time. You know, of course they did Halloween 6 and H2O, and they had ownership in Rob Zombie's 2 movies as well, and Resurrection. But you can clearly see the difference in Hellraiser 3 over the previous 2 movies. Is it a coincidence that a new studio got a hold of it? Probably not, because then you had a whole new slew of filmmakers that, you know, put their own vision in this. It just feels like a more updated 90s movie. You know, you got Terry Farrell there. I really like the character of JP, which we'll see him later. He was an interesting character. You know, everybody loves a complete asshole in a movie, and he's just that guy. He's that guy that you love. Like when he gets it, you know that it's like this guy's just really scummy. He's gonna get it, you know. So, but I mean, you know, you also got like the rock and roll, you know, the club scene in there, crazy nightclub. I think the 90s was also that decade of you know, like the Crow movies. They always had like a nightclub, and it just felt very gothy, and this fit right in with that. But seeing it open at night in theater, it was pretty packed too. I think people were excited for a new Hellraiser movie, and I have very fond memories of that experience. And I remember the audience really dug this movie, and I dug it too, actually. Just, it felt refreshing. And I'll even say, looking back at all the movies before the reboot that's coming out now, this one still feels the most fresh to me, you know? Does that make, and maybe that's because the budget feels a little bit bigger, but oh yeah, here you go. Armored Saint, John Bush. Yeah, good stuff right there, good stuff. But man, I could talk about this movie all day. I try to keep these at around like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. But I'll be showing you some clips throughout, but really this is just more for me. But I figured I'd let you guys kind of get a fly on the wall type feel here. And at the end, I'll tell you what ranking I'm gonna give this movie. You know, it'll be a numerical ranking. So like a very strict numerical ranking. So anyway, yeah, Hellraiser 3. Happy to be doing this one. See, I made it like 30 seconds and I couldn't help but want to talk about this asshole. You know, he's that cliche dirtbag, owns a club, rich, doesn't appreciate his money, so it was probably handed down by his father, who knows. But, you know, he has all these women, and just look at the way he acts. He's just a complete douchebag. I remember her, I'll have to look up her name, but she was like making the rounds on TV. She was in Seinfeld, had an episode of Seinfeld in there, where she thought George and Jerry were gay. It was hilarious. I believe Terry Farrell, her character, is Pinhead's daughter. Pinhead's daughter, so nice little link to Pinhead. Pinhead has some nice moments at the end of this movie too, because one thing I realized was in Hellbound, Pinhead has very few scenes. You know, you would think, you know, thinking back, that he would have been in that movie more, but after watching it yesterday, I was like, oh wow, Pinhead's not in this movie that much. So it's interesting. That's how visually stunning Pinhead looks, that he could be in a movie for a mere, you know, minutes. under 10 minutes, and he gets the cover of the movie. He's just that big of an icon, and maybe he is that type of character that you want in smaller doses. Like if you were to put Pinhead in, like a Michael Myers, where Myers, you see him plenty throughout. Would that work with Pinhead, or is the small? Let me know in the comments what you guys think of that. All right, say what you want about these shitty Hellraiser movies, but that is some awesome shit. It's just so creative. The JP's with this girl, and she gets close to the statue, and then Pinhead, he pretty much absorbs her. Her skin comes off. One thing I love about Hellraiser, boys, it does not hold back on the gore and ripping skin off of human bodies. It's pretty out there, and it's for a certain type of horror fan. I just talked about this yesterday with Hellbound. And JP just was shooting, and I love it. Look at this. You can kind of compare that to the way Freddy was handling Jesse in Nightmare 2. Pinhead is using JP. He uses someone's weakness for his own advantage, and in this case, so he could come on to the real world. This might be the one movie in the franchise that has Pinhead in it the most. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. Pinhead is a central character in this movie. And I think that's part of why I do love it so much. So maybe I'm kind of answering my own questions here throughout. I don't know. But that is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. That's the stand. Like, it's all downhill from here. I mean, when I saw that in the theater, I remember the audience. When we saw that in the theater, we were like, what the fuck is this? It was insane. It was awesome. I really loved Paula Marshall in this. This had a lot of great actors. People think of Pinhead as kind of like the ultimate evil. And I think the ultimate evil, it's very scary and it's very dangerous, but it's also very seductive. It can play with your wants and your needs, and it can make you these promises like he's doing with her, telling her that if you help me, if you help me obtain JP, this douchebag, and absorb him, then he's making her all these promises, all these things that I can give you. That's just great stuff, and I think that's the potential that the Hellraiser franchise offers. Unfortunately, it doesn't always deliver it that way. It rarely delivers it to this level. And guys, I'm telling you, I'm actually having a blast watching this movie. And at this moment, I might prefer it to 2. I always have a good time with Hellraiser 3. And here we go. I mean, that's just great stuff. You can't beat that. Also, Andrew Hickok's direction, I think it's on point in this movie. I love, the use of like those zoom-ins. You'll see a lot of those zoom-in shots when it's something important, like a revelation, like the scene where Terry turns the limit configuration towards the camera. But oh my God, this right here. There he is, the man. What a shot. Wow. Oh, this shot right here. This scene. Shall we begin? Another amazing scene where you got Pinhead just cooking fools in a nightclub. It's Pinhead versus, you can compare this to the Freddy versus the pool scene in part 2. There's a couple comparisons to Nightmare 2 with this movie. I wonder if the collection was inspired by this movie, because you remember you had the nightclub scene at the beginning of the collection. Kind of the same thing here. So we're at the end of this movie. Right before this, there was a showdown with all the other Cenobites. There's more Cenobites in this movie than there are in the previous, but the bad part about that is the previous Cenobites are much more foreboding and scary than these. It just goes to show sometimes more doesn't mean better or scarier. Even though you did have like Paula Marshall, Terry, and JP as Cenobites, they were kind of silly. And Cenobites shouldn't really be silly. So that's the one negative I have about this movie. I did like Terry Farrell in this movie as the final girl. I think I said her father was Pinhead, the human version of Pinhead. I don't think I'm right on that. I know her father was like a soldier. I think I got mixed up there. So sometimes I could be wrong. But overall, guys, this movie was really, really fun. And I think this is the most accessible Hellraiser movie out of the bunch. Yeah, I guess right now I'd give this one a 4 out of 5. And I didn't think I'd say that. I think I prefer it over Hellbound. And I do love the very ending of this movie too, when they walk into the office building and there's like lament configurations like on the floor and everywhere. So yeah, it's like the whole building's kind of made up of the yeah, because she buries, yeah, there you go. She buries the lament configuration in the dirt. So then when they walk in the building, it's all lament configurations. But yeah, 4 out of 5, guys. I really dug Hellraiser 3. It's always fun to rewatch that movie. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this one. All right, I'm really curious to see what you guys think. And are you looking forward to the new movie coming out? I really am. And I never thought I'd say that about a Hellraiser movie, but yeah, here we are. So anyway, guys, I'll see you for the next one. I'll probably do 4 next. I feel like I need to go ahead and watch 4. So probably tomorrow I'll do 4. Anyway, guys, see you on the flip flap.